It's Friday night, and you know what that means. An hour of wrestling television that I swear to you didn't feel any longer than 60 minutes. I'm John Renton with my review of AEW Rampage, Excalibur Taz, and the Insurrection God himself, Chris Jericho, on commentary. And no, I'm not going to let that fucking go. Because his wife and mother-in-law were there on January 6, 2021, and they deserve every bit of fucking ridicule, and justice needs to be brought to them, and so many goddamn other cowards that thought it was a good idea to try and do that bullshit. And Chris Jericho, he's just as responsible because he's married to the goddamn stupid twat, and also he donated a bunch of money to the goddamn idiot. So I'm just going to say right now that assuming that anybody that still supported the previous president is still watching this, I'm going to run you motherfuckers off one way or another, but let's talk about some wrestling. Whenever many people are still watching. Anyway, I'm not going to get off my soapbox at any point because I really don't give a shit anymore. But as far as this wrestling show, it was fine. There was actually one decent moment that led to a little bit of good storytelling, a couple title matches that certainly existed, and it was what it was. So, the Incredible Shrinking Cole, Adam Cole, baby, taking on Evil Uno, and he beat him real quick. I mean, Evil Uno got a couple shots in, but Cole was a little more aggressive. Gee, if only he could have been this serious more often, as opposed to the whole match that happened at Beach Break. And, you know, he lost because Orange Cassidy hugged him too tight and then fell over. God, that was so fucking stupid. Cole's done as the main eventer, by the way. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't care about this shit. He goes over the list of people he's beaten, a different Adam Cole, a ruthless Adam Cole. I want some damn respect. Hey, he's a great athlete. He is a great athlete. It's just I don't care about him in any kind of prominent position anymore. Because it's just he's been basically neutered since he's come in. And how he's one of the best. There's no doubt that he's put on some really, really good matches for years. Years before he even came to WWE. Put on some great matches in Ring of Honor. Anyway, we get a Jade pre-tape. And she says, oh, I'm green. Green like money. No, you're just green. She has the look, as Roxette once said. That's it. That's it. And I guess she wants more challengers because she wants to run up her undefeated streak. Who wins Jade's undefeated streak? Answers in the comments, please. Sammy Guevara took on Isaiah Cassidy with all the, Andrade Hardy family orifice, minus Andrade, who had a mistimed music cue a little bit later. Okay, Sammy is a great athlete. Isaiah Cassidy, Mark Quinn seemed like they were up, on the way up to being like one of the better tag teams in AEW. This whole Matt Hardy association thing is just death as far as like wrestling characters. It's just not good. The match was fine. It was typical flippy stuff. Sammy had bad ribs from the ladder match and just from all the shit that he does. And if Sammy Guevara is walking by the age of 40, I will be fucking amazed with all the shit he does. And of course, at one point, Jericho says he hates Jose. Naturally, Chris Jericho would hate a Hispanic. And then we get a swanton for 2. We get a moonsault onto Mark Quinn because Sammy was just tired of looking at him, I guess. And then we get a cutter for 2. Then we get GTH for 3. Nobody interfered, but then everybody tried to get in there. And oh no, Darby comes down, stares at Andrade, says, I don't want your deal, and, backs up Sammy, but then looks at him and is like, oh yeah, we had a match at Revolution 2020 that commentary had to reference. I knew they had a match on pay-per-view, I couldn't remember which one. And also, he stared at him at the TNT Championship like, I used to hold that. So, okay, nice little bit of storytelling there. And then QT is sick of them sending Hook, so he's going to send someone after Hook next week. I don't know who he's going to send. They didn't actually say who he's going to send. Maybe it's going to be QT versus Hook. So anyway, I can at least get that in the intro next week. So Shivani interviews Chris Statlander. He's better than me because I would have been too distracted by the fact she wasn't wearing pants. Layla Hirsch hits her pretty damn hard with a chair shot, actually. And then Red Velvet arriving not a moment too late. After Hirsch have run off. I guess we're going to get that match on Dynamite, or we're going to get on Rampage. I don't know. Thunder Rosa versus Mercedes Martinez. Finally, this feud culminates with this match that is obviously the first in the series. I wonder if you can guess who I was rooting for. I actually like Mercedes Martinez as well. She's tremendous, great veteran, great skills. And she gets a bit of a tongue lashing a little bit later. Saw that going differently in my head. But the crowd came alive for Thunder Rosa, but they obviously respected Mercedes Martinez, who was healing it up. She attacked early. Martinez used her power and then hit an avalanche DVD after the break. That was a nice spot. And Thunder Rosa comes back with a nice winding slam. They go outside. They go to the steps. And then suddenly there's just this naturally occurring lead pipe that just pops up out. Where did the lead pipe come from? I don't know where the lead pipe came from. Was it from Scott Steiner? Is he going to hit the duck? No, Simpy. So anyway, get the duck. We love you, Scott Steiner. So, rare DQ. They don't do that many DQs. I mean, I'm trying to think that. I mean, and that's fine. Yeah, they do a few too many distractions, a few too many bullshit finishes, but they don't do DQ finishes that often. So, okay, it's the first in a series. Just lays into her with the pipe and everything, just piping her a lot. And Mercedes leaves. Thunder Rosa laid out, but obviously he's going to come back for revenge. That's a nice little bit of storytelling. And then we have, a pre-tape thing with just a bunch of words, from Serena Deeb or whatever. She's taking people to school, which is ironically no place that her significant other can go near. He can't go within 500 feet of a goddamn school. And no, you can miss me with the fucking age of consent bullshit. A drunk 16-year-old wrestling student. Let's just say this. Let's say drunk, you don't sleep with somebody. You don't take advantage of somebody that's drunk. I don't care who the fuck you are. Austin Powers, the horniest goddamn character in, like Hollywood, the last like 20 some odd years or whatever. And, 25 years, 30 years or whatever. Hornier than fucking James Bond. He wouldn't have slept with somebody that was fucking drunk, even though she was Elizabeth Hurley. And how could you turn down Elizabeth Hurley? He didn't do that. And yeah, I know it's fiction, but guess what? Take cues from Austin Powers. Don't sleep with somebody that's fucking drunk. Don't take advantage of somebody like that, you fucking idiot. Also, underage. No, the age of consent thing, it doesn't need to be this certain age anywhere else, because that's fucking disgusting regardless if you're a man, woman, man and man, woman and woman. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what side of the spectrum. Doesn't matter. Don't do that shit. And also the fact it's a wrestling student and everything. And Marty Scurll doesn't deserve to, be in wrestling. That's why Ring of Honor got written. And Ring of Honor, run by, headed by Sinclair Broadcasting at the time, was like, hey, we don't want this guy here after all these allegations. So Deeb, who did have an article thing that came out, she had like an article, an interview or something like that Fightful had put out or whatever, and read up on it. Yeah, it's kind of done in character and everything, but she's like, oh, yeah, women, since 2000, they have it a lot better than they did in 2005, which is probably true. They don't have to worry about being assaulted. Oh, they still do. So Serena Deeb, as talented as she is, great in the ring. Fucking great in the ring. Not going to take away from that at all. But I have no desire to see her on fucking screen until she actually pulls her head out of her goddamn ass and gets rid, kicks that guy to the goddamn curb, and issues a very, 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 vehement apology. Because you have to apologize for doing that kind of stuff, especially when somebody takes advantage of somebody that was drunk, underage, and also a wrestling student. Now off my soapbox again. Britt was talking to Mercedes and saying, hey, Sterling may have handed you that check, but I wrote the check. And if you don't get the job done, I'll make sure that your time here is as short as the time, that you had at your last place. Ooh, she said the thing without saying the thing. And then Jamie Hayter bowed up at her. I'll say Mercedes, amount of self-control is better than a lot of people's. Jamie, goddamn. So, it's time for the main event. But first, we hear about Dynamite. Adam Hangman Page and Lance Archer in a Texas Death Match. MJF speaks. A Tony Khan announcement. Apparently, they're going to have the Face of the Revolution qualifying ladder match, or at least one of the qualifying matches for the Face of the Revolution ladder match on Dynamite. Inner Circle meeting. Next week, the Gun Club versus Jurassic Express. Well, actually, the Ass Boys. And then Hook in action. So, Lethal and Starks had a match for the FTW Championship. The unrecognized title. It doesn't fucking matter. Hobbs is there. Hobbs does some distractions. Lethal and Starks did some good wrestling. Hobbs stops the lethal injection at one point. Good thing to do in case the person wasn't guilty of the crime. I mean, the move. And then Dante, I don't know how the hell Dante did this, but Dante ran from nowhere. He must have just materialized out of thin air. He jumps on the ropes and just does a spectacular dive over there. If he can stay virtually injury-free, that kid is just going to be a fucking star. But we get more near falls and stuff like that. Lethal's trying to go for the lethal injection. And then eventually he tries to go for that butt catches Rochambeau variation 1, 2, 3. Starks gets the win. And it's interesting. Lethal is laying down just like he wanted the women to do if they wanted to get ahead in Ring of Honor, allegedly. So yeah, that's really all I got to say about that. Rampage was fine. It was fine. I mean, it's an hour. I'll say this much. As far as the 2 Friday night wrestling shows, at least this one's over quicker. But anyway, agree, disagree with what I said. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.